Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another movie review. So, we're continuing our look at the X-Men movies, and now we move into an interesting spectacle of a movie, a very polarizing movie, and we'll get to why. But we are going to be talking about, of course, X-Men Origins Wolverine, aka the first and the last, and so far the only X Men Origins movie they've done. Apparently, they were supposed to do some other X Men Origins movies, such as like for Gambit and I think for Storm, but I guess after this one, they didn't want to do anymore. Or so. Of course, as always, I'm not professional, not professional wrestling, not wrestling, not a professional movie reviewer or movie analyst, movie critic, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I had an okay time with this movie. Like I said, very polarizing movie. This one is, and um, it's a movie that people either really like or they really hate. And honestly, after having seen the movie, he for the first time in a while, I actually saw this movie way back when it like first came out and everything, and then I would sometimes catch some of the reruns um, of the movie as it was on like TV and everything. After having watched this movie, he once again, and for the purpose of the review here, or I can kind of see both sides. Like I can see why some people might like it, but I can also see why some people may not like it. There's things to like, and there's things to not really like as much in the movie. So, without further ado, let's get into it. For those of you who have seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. For those of you who haven't, I'm pretty much going to be talking about what I liked, what I disliked about the movie. Starting with what I liked. I feel like the character of Wolverine is done relatively well, and staying pretty consistent throughout the movies. Which so far the consistency of Wolverine as a character. Or so far, they've been mostly able to stick to it, where Wolverine's kind of arrogant and also kind of aggressive and everything. And of course, because it's like an origins movie, we're seeing a lot of the beginnings of how Wolverine came to be. We see him with the claws, although they're a lot more like bony, he kind of skinny claws. This time around, we see how things developed, of why he kind of has like the rivalry he does with Sabretooth, which in this universe Sabretooth is his half brother, or which interesting choice this time around. And I can see why they did that though, to kind of give even more of like a connection between Wolverine and Sabretooth. Obviously in the comics they're not related, but trying to give a bit more of a connection with Wolverine and Sabretooth here, establishing some of Wolverine, his motives, how he got to where he is, how he got the adamantium on his bones and everything. We see how his relationship with Stryker was developed. Of course, Stryker, a part of X2, which I reviewed. So if you haven't already, go check out that review. Seeing how Wolverine interacted with Stryker and everything, and how Stryker was partially responsible for Wolverine getting his adamantium infused into his skeleton in the first place, and kind of revisiting some of the flashbacks that were seen throughout the original X Men movies and everything. So kind of revisiting some of the stuff of that the other movies established, and then kind of trying to explain it away, pretty much like what was done with like the Star Wars movies when they transitioned from the original trilogy to the prequel trilogy. He kind of trying to explain, oh, that's why something's the way it is. Pretty much what this movie is trying to do, which it somewhat does, I think it does kind of fall short in some regards. A common theme that they present throughout, that plagues Wolverine's life and really helps develop him as a character, is the amount of losses that he's had in his life. He lost his mom. His mom was killed. He lost his girlfriend. He lost some of his friends, some of his like ex teammates who were part of the, I believe, I don't think it was really given like a name. I think it's implied it's supposed to be like the Weapon X force and everything because it's got like Sabretooth and Blob and Deadpool, who aka Wade Wilson, and who get to him. But kind of like a lot of Wolverine's like task force buddies is he's but seeing that loss kind of shaping Wolverine into the person that he becomes, um, which I do like the direction they're taking, but with something that happens in the movie that we'll address, it almost goes kind of moot. It almost is rendered kind of moot, but yeah. So there's that. The pacing I think for this movie is kind of okay. Some stuff doesn't drag on too long. For the most part, things are kept moving, which is nice. And this movie falls within like the hour 40 minute mark, just like a lot of the other X-Men movies. Although so far X2 is the only one to actually break the 2 hour mark. But otherwise, this movie about hour or 40. I think like hour 41 minutes or so. If I'm not mistaken. And so kind of in that ballpark, similar to like the other X-Men movies, besides X2, who pretty decent little adventure and everything, but thankfully it doesn't feel too long. So yeah, trying to establish a lot of the stuff, a lot of Wolverine's character and everything, and how we kind of got things to be, and we even see some of the we even see a future X-Man who will be presented in the movie proper when we get to like at least in the timeline when we get to the actual X-Men movie is in their place in the timeline. We see Cyclops, of course, and we see how he meets Professor Xavier, who is standing. So this is before he has the wheelchair, but that will also be undone by the time we get to our next movie in the series, which is going to be X-Men First Class. But yeah, so trying to establish stuff and trying to build up Wolverine's character and everything. But as for what I didn't like about the movie, some of the effects used in the movie did look kind of weird. It was kind of like that 2000s period where some of the CG effects they used looked kind of weird. We saw some of it hit in movies like Iron Man and stuff as well, but here some of the effects do look kind of weird, and kind of like almost kind of like Bush League almost, which does suck. Like, thankfully, some of them not as bad as like the other X-Men movies, but some of them did look kind of weird in regards to that. And so some of the effects did look really weird, but also kind of the thread they try to do. They try to do like a twist where it revealed that like, hey, at first it makes it seem like Stryker wants to help Wolverine track down Sabretooth, but it turns out Sabretooth and Stryker, which actually I don't think he's referred to as Sabretooth throughout the movie at all, which is interesting. But it turns out Sabretooth and Stryker are in cahoots with each other, actually working together to try to trick Wolverine and everything. And then Wolverine's girlfriend, Kayla Silverfox, she was dating Wolverine, but it turns out, she's part of the plan too. It's all a big ploy to get Wolverine there. Like that type of kind of like that, trying to do that twist and everything, kind of the whole rigmarole of that. It's something that's been done before in like movies and TV shows as well, and even in some video games. But it's something that I think is either hit or miss. It's either like kind of clever, kind of okay, hey, but it can also be kind of like eye roll, like Jesus, why, why. Hey, that twist. The twist is so weak, and this one, sadly, it's almost kind of a wet fart. Or I feel like it's kind of like there's that twist. That kind of sucks. And then there's Gambit in this movie, which Gambit is introduced. Who's fortunately, I feel like they did kind of miss the mark with Gambit a little bit. They tried to keep the core of him pretty much the same, where he's like cunning, kind of like the kind of like the gambler, everything. Of course, Gambit is, but where I think it falls short is that he really didn't get a whole lot of time to shine in the movie. He was there for like a few scenes, helped out Wolverine and everything, got to show off some of his powers, which this time around his power is straight up telekinesis with like the cards and everything, and his stick, and like the kinetic energy and everything, which Gambit of course had. Gambit's major ability is like being able to charge up stuff, such like the playing card. So when he throws it, it explodes, which they do kind of do in this movie, but I wish he got more time to shine in the movie. I wish the actor for it committed a bit more to the Cajun accent. Of course, Gambit is Cajun, in which, for those of you who don't know, Cajun is kind of like, Louisiana kind of territory and everything. But I wish it was committed to a little bit more. Or unfortunately, he wasn't, and he didn't really get a whole lot of time to shine. And then also the fact that Wolverine and Cyclops are at the same facility, and I know Cyclops is blinded and everything, and not necessarily blinded, but yeah, blinded because he has the blindfold on, so he can't use his eye beams, and he isn't able to see. And he has to rely on Professor Xavier, like guiding him to come out so that Professor Xavier can rescue like the rest of the mutants and everything. Which the effects they used for like Professor Xavier or his effects in the movie did look kind of weird as well. But the fact that Cyclops and Wolverine are there, but Cyclops doesn't remember Wolverine, and Professor Xavier didn't sense Wolverine there. They're at the facility in Alkaline Lake. That is kind of weird on the other and everything. I don't know if it necessarily was Alkaline Lake, but in the facility and everything is a little bit weird. And then there's kind of what happens at the end where Wolverine's shot multiple times with the adamantium bullet right in the head so that he loses a lot of his memory, which almost makes this whole thing obsolete. Because Wolverine doesn't remember any of this except some of the stuff that he does remember. But I know it kind of comes and goes in like flashbacks and everything, which is something they do in the comics as well. But are you ready for the main event? Let's talk about Deadpool. And I'm sure those of you who are watching this review have been waiting patiently with bated breath for me to talk about what they did to Deadpool. And what they did to Deadpool in this movie, whoo boy, it almost starts out kind of promising, and you're lulled into a false sense of security because Ryan Reynolds as like Wade Wilson, and so far has a lot of the Deadpool isms where he's a loudmouth, he talks a lot, but is also very skilled with like the katana, and even slicing the bullet in half and everything. You're gonna think, oh, Deadpool's gonna be awesome, and Wade Wilson. And it's gonna be awesome in the movie, but then they have the thread, which the thread is like Sabretooth collecting a lot of the mutant powers and everything, so they can put it into Wade as the Deadpool, kind of like pooling all the different X genes and everything to have all these powers, and then he appears, mouth sewn shut, so he doesn't speak. He bald, looking kind of creepy and utterly ridiculous, pretty much like laughable. Like you almost want to burst out laughing when you see him. And like if this was like my first time watching this movie, I probably would have burst out laughing. Thankfully, I'm sadly kind of familiar with this look for Deadpool in this movie. Oh boy, but yeah, and then like the swords coming out of his arms, similar to like Wolverine's claws. It just, no. It's something that's kind of haunted Ryan Reynolds in his career for a while. Between this and Green Lantern, in the superhero community, Ryan Reynolds kind of had a poor reputation, but thankfully, with the release of the Deadpool movie, by the time we got to 2016, he definitely redeemed him in the eyes of a lot of people. And the fact that Ryan Reynolds / Deadpool makes fun of his old appearance as often as he does. As in like the Deadpool movie, they show like the Deadpool action figure and they kind of make fun of it. And then in Deadpool 2, Deadpool shoots the Deadpool creation thing in the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie when he travels back in time and everything, and thankfully able to take some of the sting away, but a lot of the sting still remains. And what on earth were they thinking? I can tell that they kind of did want like the big twist of like this villain that Wolverine has to fight off having like the powers and everything, and Deadpool of course does. In the comics, does get his abilities from Wolverine, the healing factor and everything, but otherwise, just no, why? Why was this a thing? Why did I have to gaze upon it? And the fact that the kicker is they also gave it away. In one of the scenes where Stryker's seen working on Deadpool and everything, he lifts up the sheets and you can see Deadpool, aka Ryan Reynolds. Like, why did they give that away? Like, if it was a big reveal, well, honestly, then it would have been even more of a letdown. Never mind. But yeah, so that's definitely. I think that was one of the things. That's what they did to Deadpool. Still one of the major things that a lot of people talk about when it comes to X-Men Origins Wolverine, and I think that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people don't like it. Aside from the other stuff I mentioned, and the other stuff is bad, but the Deadpool thing, I think that probably was a lot of people. That was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of people, that caused them to really dislike this movie. And being able to teleport was kind of cool. Deadpool, well, of course, is able to teleport. He has teleporters in the comics and everything, so he is able to teleport. But otherwise, just no. Oh, hell, they did foreshadow it though. I will give the movie credit. They did foreshadow it with Stryker saying, "Hey, Wade, you'd be the perfect soldier if you didn't talk that much," or something along those lines. But this was not the way to go with it. But yeah, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. Turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below. I almost forgot to mention, he had laser eyes as well. Well, I literally just thought about it. Deadpool had the laser eyes as well, which was really, really weird. The fact that, like, the eyes around him went black, kind of like how... being a nod to like Deadpool's mask and everything in the comics. It's a nice touch, but it just looked weird. Him getting decapitated was kind of cool though. But yeah, so but otherwise, yeah, that's gonna do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, start post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the movie, your thoughts on my review. Did you dislike the movie? Did you dislike my review of the movie? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.